You know, I really think there should be a written disclosure when Brad's going to be in the room and you didn't know it.
Oh, because you didn't know it?
Leadership doesn't like when I speak, so I'm not in here very often.
We're live.
Okay, great. Thanks for the warning.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Yeah, we're up and running. There we go. There is no amazing open for this. So I just keep clicking buttons until we get to YouTube and FaceSpace. Doyle's horrified that Brad's here. No, you're okay?
Not at all. No.
And now look, Bradley, do me a favor. Just look up at the screen. Tell me she doesn't look like she's leaving.
Oh, she's on her way.
I'm gonna Doyle, slide into the middle of the chair.
I thought that I was interrupting you two.
Nope.
That's
Move into the chair.
only reason.
Move into the chair.
Okay.
I've got your camera set up that it's focused on the center of the chair.
Okay.
You still look like you're leaving.
Okay, no, I'm not leaving.
She hasn't decided yet.
Oh my God.
She walked in. You walked in. Honestly, God, you walked in. You saw Brad, and you just stood still.
I thought you guys were in a meeting about something.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Oh, well,
Talking
I guess
about you.
I should have climbed in.
Welcome
the door
in.
earlier.
We are back for 2026. It is Coffee with a Capper. We're
They're
doing.
picking on me.
I decided to call it Latte with a Leader. I was going to go decaf with a Doyle. Did you do decaf?
Oh God, no. Why bother?
Is your folks? I guarantee. Did your dad drink Sanka, or was there Sanka on hand for old people when they swung by?
U-Ban.
What was it called?
U-Ban.
U-Ban.
Y-U-B-A-N. It had a very like a curved top, bottom with like a rust-colored cap. U-Ban.
U-Ban.
Coffee. Yeah.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah.
All right. So as we always do, Bradley hasn't been here for a little bit because we've been doing all of the things and other things. So Brad is the sponsor. I mean, you owe 8 million coffees to all the agents.
I didn't bring any U-Ban with
me. We don't have any U-Ban or Sanka. But Brad, our dear friend from Movement Mortgage, joins us. We're going to go over some mortgage conversations. And you're going to bring us up to speed on whatever's you teased a little bit, but I don't think you're going to go down that road. Maybe you are going to go down that road. What we were talking about before we started, I don't know.
We could start.
We could start talking there,
actually,
and then of course we're going to spend the rest of the morning talking to the Sue Doyle, who has been with the Market Center for I'm going to go 16. You're going to be into your 16th year. This will be 16. You're 15 right now.
Yes.
You'll be 16 in November.
I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
16 in November.
Yes.
So
January.
She knows where a lot of the bodies are buried. Oh, by next January.
well,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get there.
Next January is
We'll get
16.
there.
I'm
And
not
and at some point, Doyle might take off her scarf, maybe her coat. She might relax. She is ready to leave the building because she walked in and saw her older brother Bradley here, prepared to pick on her. So she might not stick around. But
I'm gonna go moment by moment. No,
I'm not committing to anything.
I'm going to rebrand it right now. It's called Dashing with Doyle. She might dash at any moment.
I'm not going to dash.
She still has trauma from the time that we went to family and she had the room across the hall from me and never left her room.
Well, the first part of that, the trauma is absolutely yes. The never leaving room, no, because you know what? They don't know if I was in there or not. So that's my defense.
All right.
What city was this?
It was Orlando.
Was it?
It was one of the Orlando trips, yeah. Where were you hanging out with Mickey instead? Ripping it up?
Yeah.
Orlando 14, she was getting goofy.
It was one of the early ones in Orlando.
14 was one of the...
Was that what it was? It was one of the early ones.
14 was...
I think there was Dancing on Tables. You were at one of the Dancing on Tables ones.
That was yeah.
Opa.
When we went to
Dancing on
Opa.
the bar.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Tables. It was bar.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've pled the fifth. I'm not saying that I was part of that, but
Not that you wouldn't dance on a table, because that was the event where I believe the Prince Williams was dancing on the table at Opa.
Yes, he was.
Yes. Yep. That was a night.
Could
Yeah.
be.
That was a night.
I think there was people maybe warned to put their shirts back on at that one. It was good. It was a good trip.
We had a few situations in the way past.
Well, that was the
like-
regional dinner, and we went right from the convention center. And I, for whatever reason, this also happened in New Orleans, I stayed suited up the whole night.
Oh, no.
And that was Kaylee has video of me at the end of the night. Yes.
Was that where you were at David Buster's?
That was Dave and
After we
Buster.
went,
That was
after we went to the dueling piano
that
bar,
was
right?
Dave and Buster's night. And
Yeah.
then before I finally made it down to my room, I was in their room pouring a water bottle over my face saying super thirsty. And that exists in a full suit. That exists somewhere on Kaylee's iCloud. So Tim Cook, if you could erase that, that would be great. Because Kaylee has
We'll
that.
find it.
Yeah.
We're now on it.
Kaylee has the super thirsty video, which is
If Brad
interesting
can
at
find
best.
my junior high picture on the internet, we,
Oh.
can
We
find
have that. We'll be
yours.
reviewing those later.
No,
Those
we
will
will
all
not.
be on
Oh,
YouTube
no, I
and
shared it.
FaceSpace.
I shared it. Your field hockey picture. It was so cute.
Nothing like 100-degree day and school pictures right after a game.
You
yeah.
ever saw that?
Okay, let's move on. Is there a topic?
I
Mortgages.
actually deleted
Mortgages.
it. There was at one point, like back when Facebook would like ping you if somebody you knew
Okay.
they posted something. Somebody shared like the high school like photo or whatever for her, like the page that she
I
was
love
on in her
this.
high school yearbook.
Just Newbury High?
Yeah.
Triton Regional. Thank
Triton,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Pardon me,
Byfield,
sister. Pardon me.
Massachusetts.
They tagged her. She immediately went in there and like erased it.
Oh,
Shockingly, I was at the brewery.
screen cap.
And I got the
Ping.
ping
It
and I
happened at the
grabbed it
brewery for
before
8
she could get rid of it.
hours.
And then I put it on her door for her.
So you have it
I don't know what you're talking about.
somewhere. It's all right.
So about
Good to
those
know.
mortgages, are they important?
Brad
to
Kelly,
have?
Movement Mortgage. What's going
Are
on,
they
buddy?
important to have these days?
Oh, they're good times. Yeah. So mortgage world, buckle up. I'm going to say this every single time I talk about things like this. This is not a political thing in any way, shape, or form. But our president last night announced, after I sat through Barry Habib's 2026 expectations, and he said that there's no way they would buy mortgage-backed securities again. Donald announced 200 billion, I think, worth of mortgage-backed securities purchases last night, which is definitely rocking the mortgage-backed securities world right now. So I don't think we're gonna. I was just talking to Kelly on my team. I don't know that we're gonna see a direct correlation right away on the rates, but it's definitely something that should push rates down if it happens. So he's you know, I think in the speech or whatever, he basically was saying that he's trying to find ways to make housing more affordable. I know they're also kicking around something about limiting investors buying single family houses, which I don't know that that's going to be a great thing, but we'll see. But lower mortgage rates, I guess, never hurts, especially when you're in my business. So be prepared. It's probably going to be a little bit rocky, you know, until they figure out what's really going on, because we just don't know until it starts happening. But yeah, I would expect, based on that there's going to be concerted effort to figure out a way to push rates down some, you know, and when I say some, like anybody that thinks we're going back to 2s and 3s, I'm sorry. I'm the guy that's ruining your life right now. It's not going to happen, but a 5 on the front would look really nice on rates, because, you know, it would break loose a lot of people out there, I think, that are either in that 3 to 4 range already and don't want to sell, even though they got 15 kids in a 2-bedroom house. They don't want to sell because they got a 3% rate. You know, if now it's got a 5 on the front, maybe they're going to step up, free up that house for somebody else to buy, things of that nature. So I'd be prepared, because it sounds like this year is going to be an interesting real estate and mortgage, you know, environment.
Okay. Well, when I heard about the investors, I thought it was more of a situation where like the large foreign parties, like you know, I'm just going to throw out a name like BlackRock and stuff like that. I thought it was the institutional investors that were going to be, and that's also, I don't know if that's necessarily delicious news either, because they'll be like, well, if you're not going to play in the space in that way, maybe we don't play in the space, and they're investing in, you know, building out and all that kind of stuff too. So
yeah, there's challenges that go along with that in regards to home values, and that's this. And I get, you know, everybody wants houses to be cheaper. You know, we don't want the market to crash either, though. Like, you know, that's, you know, that everybody that owns real estate's going to be upset about that. So you got to, it's a balancing act there, you know, as far as how far do you push that, you know? So we'll see what comes of that, you know, and I think that's still up in the air. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air. There's the, you know, expected IPO of Fannie and Freddie potentially coming. I think that's something that's going to be explored in the next, month or so. There, like I said, there's mortgage-backed securities purchases. There's already a trend that rates, to push rates down. So it's going to be interesting. I think the first notification I got in 2026 was basically like, buckle up. This could be a little roller coastery for a little while until everybody gets a better feel for what's going on. So, just be prepared for that with your clients. Cause I know we're coming out of 2 weeks of screwed up work weeks. I mean, I know, and everything else with the holiday but get in front of people, have those conversations, talk to them about, those people that are like, oh, I don't want to sell my house. Maybe have a conversation with them now and be like, hey, I'm hearing rates are going to be driving down. Let's explore this. Maybe this is the right time, because you don't want to wait too long, have rates go down, but then have that, that other thing we were just talking about, where there's a restriction on who's buying single family properties, in turn drive those values down. And then those people that were waiting for the rates to get better, the rates got better, but now they don't have the equity that they thought they had. Yeah. So, it's a two-edged sword of sorts. So
we also brought you in because we're definitely going to talk about the fact that Doyle adores doing VA loans, and so passionately that you seem to get, your dander is up usually when you hear people saying, "Oh, I don't bother doing those because they're too difficult." Yes, so we have Brad to touch on that when we get there. But we're going to go back to the field hockey photo at this point, because
we're not.
Listen, this is when
I'm out.
That's why she has her coat on. Yes,
I knew better.
And her leather bound iPhone.
Oh my God.
Which when she got here, she took 7 minutes to shut off all the notifications.
No, I had like 22 different alarms set for today. Like, do this, do that, do this, do that.
She had 22 alarms to make it here.
Oh my God.
To get here for 11:01 sharp.
I don't leave at 3 p.m., so sometimes I'm here much later.
I don't think he ever leaves, so I don't know who that's directed at.
Wow. That would be you, Bradley.
Anywho,
love you.
That's him going to second lunch.
4 when my staff leaves. Yeah. Let's be honest. I'm on the phone all night long anyways, so it doesn't matter where I am. They find me.
Well, that's a great point to make too. If you have not ever done business with Brad and his team at Movement Mortgage, it's 603. I'm just going to give out your phone number because I think
that's where we go.
Not done that in the past, and it doesn't make any sense. 603-396-3198. At Sunday night around 8 o'clock, he'll still be available, but probably not the best time to get an honest conversation out of him.
We'll see. What's the kickoffs at like 8:20? So you might have 10 minutes.
Yeah, you have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes.
Speaking of that, I had delusions that I was going to the game this weekend until I found out that it was at 8 o'clock on a Sunday game. Yeah, I'm too old for that.
Wait a minute. When did that you before?
I was just talking to Nathan about this. So at one point you had seasons, Nate had seasons, I had seasons, and I evaporated mine. My last season was the year before Deflategate. And then the Deflategate game we went to, which was an infamous night. Yes. So yeah, I landed the plane on mine, and then I don't know, you and he held onto yours a little bit longer.
Well, those tickets are still there. They're just, so what they were was one of my college roommates, his older brother had those tickets. Yeah. He has them back now. Okay. Because he decided not to let them go. And so he's got somebody else at the bottom or whatever, so, but we had a good run. That's my, other than my lovely wife and children, that's probably my next biggest claim to fame is that I was there for the whole run.
Yes.
The whole Brady run.
We were there for a good time. What I always think about is because Janina would go quite a bit with me, but often, she wouldn't want to tolerate the late nights or the cold. And you think about the people that went to Gillette or Foxborough or Schaefer way back in the day when you didn't have your cell phone, when you could not be contacted by a family. It's just like, Dad might be back Tuesday. Might be back Tuesday. It was a different time. Yeah. Bring us up to speed. This is where you get to tell the story, Doyle, from high school graduation to this conversation.
Is this when I take out the photo?
No.
Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. That's going to be on the morning news Monday. The new cover photo. The new cover. I would never do that, Doyle. I'm obviously afraid of you, as is he, whether he wants to admit it or not. So go ahead. Start from the beginning. Start from Genesis.
High school? Oh, geez. That was a long time ago. Nothing unusual. It Played field hockey.
Newbury the whole time though. You were in
Newbury.
the
Yep,
whole
born
time.
and raised in Newbury.
Yep.
Newbury Elementary. Kindergarten prior to that. 2 doors down from my grandmother, which I rode my bike from my grandmother's house to the
in kindergarten.
Yes,
That's the best.
Yeah, it was cool. 2 houses down, and I was like so cool for doing that. Middle school, Triton High. We rolled on the field hockey field most years. Played a little basketball, but I never
Were you
really
captain?
loved
Were you
it.
getting in fights and stuff? Like what?
Oh,
What was your modus operandi on the field hockey team? Were you just
We were just strong.
quiet team player, or were you
our-
eye black and you had like a dip in the cheek? What was happening?
We had a lot of dips in our calves because a lot of us didn't, or shin bone, because a lot of us didn't want to wear shin guards. But we had an amazing coach, Von Van Gore, who was just no slack. We'd start off with running up hills for a couple of miles, and like she pushed hard, and we were always at the top. But played tennis in the spring and skied all winter. It was a very normal high school experience. Nothing really newsworthy. Stayed out of trouble, generally. Or at least back then, you didn't get caught as easily, so we didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Back to the no cameras.
Yeah, no cell phones, no video, no nothing.
I think we'd all be leading different lives if our
we
youth
would
had
very much
had
be
the
living different lives.
had the
Yes.
terabytes of details that
Absolutely.
our kids do. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep. My parents were divorced at some point in there when I was like 13 or so. Lived primarily with my dad, which was cool because my dad was just awesome. Like kids at high school would swing by the house some afternoons or evenings and just like, "Hey Sue, how you doing? We came to see your dad." It's like, "Oh, okay, fine." He was a cool dad.
Yeah.
He'd be, "Hey, it's 3 a.m. Wake up. There's powder at Sugarloaf. Let's go." "Dad, it's 3 a.m. I have a math test tomorrow." "That's all right. We'll get it made up. Don't worry about it." He was an awesome, awesome dad. Taught me awful lot. I traveled with him a lot.
What did Dad do for work that he was
He was
blowing
an
up his
architect.
days? Okay.
He was a Boston architect who did some great, noteworthy buildings, and he was a great inspiration because he was very serious about that, but then just lived life to the fullest outside of that as well. So, and my mom too, awesome mom. She's still here. My dad, unfortunately, is not.
Yep.
Awesome mom. Love both of them dearly. And I kind of figured out merging into adulthood, I was exactly 50% of each. So my mom would have the little monogram collars and monogram sweaters, and it was pretty pristine about things.
Yeah.
And my dad was a bit of a like, "Hey, powder and Kingfield, let's go."
Yep.
A little bit of both, I think.
When do you after school? What are you doing first? Because real estate doesn't happen right away for you.
Oh,
so what are you doing?
No. After college, worked at a law firm in Hampton where my parents played tennis with a couple of people that owned the firm, some of the attorneys. And they offered me a summer spot. Actually, during college, offered me a summer spot there.
What were you in school for?
Criminal
Justice and human behavior.
That's why she's keeping an eye on you,
jazz.
Brad. Yeah.
You're like a case study over there.
Well, you know what's
buddy.
so funny though, because I always refer to you because you're one of you'll get up, you get 65 dogs, so they have to be looked after all day, and then you invariably will be in here in the afternoon, into the evening. So I've always called you Dexter. You're sliding the blood samples behind the photography in your office late at night. So you've always had that. You know, which is funny because you'll be like, "Yeah, I was in here last night. The printer wasn't working." Well, Doyle, we were here at 10:30. There was no staff to help, unfortunately. Not that the printer's working fine right now, by the way.
No.
Knock on
We have a
wood.
thing with the printers, but that's okay. After that, after college, after graduation, decided to stay in a law firm setting. Worked at the same firm for a couple of years, I think, and then moved to a larger firm to just get that experience with little broader scope of things. And real estate happened first by flipping properties. I wasn't licensed yet.
Yeah.
And had no interest in getting licensed at that point.
How does the flipping start though? Like, what was the impetus for that?
I think it was really, well, it was a discussion with a great friend of mine who's been a client, a partner on different projects, friend overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove by a house. It was an open house in Portsmouth one day, and I drove by that. And I don't know what made me stop in, but I did. And I looked at it. It was super dated, but it was a two-family. Great yard, parking, all the things that were kind of on the,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have this list. And I did a tour. I went through it, and I could very distinctly see exactly the way it should be converted. And this was years ago. It's a little different now. Like that same house right now, dated, would be, like a
$1.5 million.
1.6.
Yeah, the driveway is $800,000.
Right,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get two for it. So so there was always that very delicate balance. But I walked in there. I called my my friend who was a contractor and had a full crew, and I said, I really think this would be a great project. What do you think? And he came down, and we scheduled a time to see it. And all the stuff, all the normal things that we do. And we dove in and made it happen. And, it was a good introduction to, I had done a few on my own, but this was the first introduction of running ideas by somebody who, at least on the construction side, really knew what he was doing, like down cold.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit more like, the backsplash would look great on here. And we did a number of projects together, and we eventually kind of figured out that I would get from sheetrock out, and he would get sheetrock in, because I the valves and all the stuff, that they have to be perfect and they have to work, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So did a number of those, and then we came across a listing agent who is a member of our office, and eventually said, why don't you go get your license? No, I don't think I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I'm doing. The market shifted a little bit, and then it made sense. And there was also a day that, and I mean this with great heart and intentions, but there was a day that this other agent was handed like 4 or 5 checks or something, and he was like, "Do you want to go get your license now?" And because I was after him all the time to like change the pictures, and I want it to read this way, and like different than what was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, just go do it. So I did. And to his credit, he called me. I had taken the test across the street.
H&R Croc. Fantastic. Over at H&R Croc.
Are they still there?
I believe they're still there.
Okay.
Yes. Not paying attention, but we'll
Yeah.
check. We'll send over a messenger.
Okay, we'll drive by and see. He called me like 2 days before I had to. No, I did the course. He called me 2 days before I had to go in and take the test.
Yeah.
And I hadn't written that date down. I still wasn't convinced I wanted to do this.
She had an alarm set for it though, Brad.
12 alarms.
Jesus.
We're just far enough apart. I can't get to
That's
you.
yes. I trust me. The
God,
furniture is
I don't
placed.
like how this is placed.
Just so everyone, we are COVID ready. We're 6 feet apart.
It's good that I'm behaving in here.
You're
I'm
doing a
answering
great
your
job.
Questions.
Doing a great job.
So I went over and took the test, and then it was like, okay, I passed. Like, what do I do now?
Now what?
And came in and signed up and did all that, and it just kind of evolved from there, very normally. Really.
Dual career to start.
Oh yes, kind of forgot that part.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on the legal side still, and could be very flexible, which is how that worked.
And that's why Dexter was happening, because you were coming in after regular office hours to do all your real estate stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Did that for 6
Yeah. I was
ish,
gonna say 5 or 6
7
years. Yeah.
years, and then it just became time to scoot
That's
out
when
of
your
that.
dad's DNA kicked in. Guess what? We're leaving.
Yeah, I'm out.
Guess what?
I'm out.
There's more power over real estate. We're going
Well,
there.
It was that, and then there was a kind of a thing that had taken place at that office that I was just like, this is not acceptable, and it's not how things should be done. And I walked. Never done that before in my life, but I tell you, the Keller Williams coastal side of things, I was completely shaken up by that. I left, 6 weeks of paid vacation and 401k and primo anthem and, bonuses at the end of the year, 50, 60, 75k, whatever.
Yep.
And I walked off of that because of this incident that I thought was morally and ethically not acceptable.
Yep.
And I walked into this office and
you met Brad, and you're like, wait a minute.
whoa, wait, let me make a phone call really fast.
Speaking of illegal.
So sorry.
The rest of the world's like this?
It's true. No, I walked in and I just kind of gravitated to Tim's office, and Kaylee and I think Susanna were in there at the time, and they could probably tell I was very rare, but bursting into tears, and was like, oh my God, I can't believe what I just did. And they were like, I'll never forget this. It was like it was yesterday. They were very like, not uncaring, I don't mean it this way, but they were very kind of flatline about it. Like, all right, so go do your thing. Like, you got this. It was very supportive, and I don't mean to make it sound like it was like, oh, who cares? It wasn't that at all. But it was just the way they were like, okay, well, go take off. Like, you can do this. And I think without that conversation, it would have taken a long time to kind of get going after that scenario that had happened. I'll never forget that moment in there. It meant the absolute world to me. And it was kind of the like, well, here's my choice. Like, these 3 awesome people have just said, so go do your thing.
Yep.
No worries.
Yep.
Take a day, then go do your thing. So that's the story.
That's the story. That gets us here.
That gets us here.
You've got a huge affinity for public service, for the public servants, for police officers, firefighters, the military. We talked a little bit a few minutes ago about the whole VA thing, and I think it carries a little bit of a pall. People feel like, oh, I've heard those are scary or they're tough to do or whatever. You two can eradicate that in under 7 minutes, but we can take more time than that. Like, talk to me about why when you first heard that as an agent, because it's always been you've been very passionate about helping that sector, and then the first person in your career that might have said like, oh yeah, VAs are tough. Maybe don't lean into those and help blow that up for people that are listening right now, that they're not that difficult. It's just a matter of understanding the process and having a great lender and
Absolutely.
X, Y, Z. So go ahead.
I think that's how my brain works. First of all, there's what the military have done, what they do for us, their commitment, their waking up. And, and the first responders are kind of similar in this way. They wake up every day, they put their uniforms on, and they go do the hard things that most of us couldn't. I mean, really. For the military, they've already earned their home in a sense. And it's just getting through the process, which in my world, I've never once found more difficult than any other program. I haven't. And I'm not just saying that to promote it. I think the biggest scenario I had was one lender who, I got a phone call out of the blue, and they're like, you're not closing. We don't have a termite certificate. And I said, I don't, we're in New Hampshire. This was a New Hampshire home, new construction home. I said, we don't have those. Well, where are you? New Hampshire, New England, cold, limited. And I know sometimes they do come into play, but for this one, it was definitely not going to be needed. And I knew that. I already knew that. It took a little bit to unwind that and have the woman say, "Oh, yep, you don't need that." I'm like, "Okay, let's go close." That was it. It was like 3 conversations. So yes, at the beginning, did I hear agents talk about, oh, VA? It's a reaction that people have. Like I don't even know that they're doing it, but it's horrible to shut down the people who have served our country
Mm.
and not even give them a chance at a home because maybe there's 1-2 pieces of paper extra. Really? I mean, really? And yes, and Brad, you've got to have somebody like Brad right on board who knows exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Literally had this conversation last night. I had a veteran on the phone last night that I've got pre-approved. It's been looking to buy a home for a while. And he was like, well, he's like, I hear that VA's, not as likely to win a transaction with VA. And so like, I think I should look at conventional. He does not have 20% down. So he's going to take on PMI with that. And I was like, why would you ever do that? And he was like, well, and I was like, I get it. The VA loan is the best loan available to buyers for a reason, because they deserve it. Period. End of story.
So good.
That's the conversation I have with them every time. And I think there's a big misconception, and we can go into that world a little bit more, but I've had veterans win multiple offers because they're a veteran.
Exactly. Me too.
And that's how it should be.
Yes.
If everything else is equal, you should be looking at it going, oh, this is a veteran that's trying to buy this home for their family, not, oh, it's a VA loan. This is going to be harder. I think the biggest issue is there's you deal with lenders all over the country there's different standards, like you said, termite, things of that nature. The other thing is I think there's this, and I still run into this all the time, and it cracks me up from very experienced agents. I run into this, that there's this misconception that conventional, it doesn't matter if it's a pile of lumber on the ground, they're going to appraise it and it's going to be fine. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like
Do you remember, I'm just going to bring up one conventional. Do you remember, I can't remember where it was, like Danville or somewhere out there. And I was... Oh,
the one I was eating dinner with my family and you were painting the house.
So conventional, and there was a primer coat of paint on this big addition, like living room, open to kitchen, little kitchenette thing, whatever. And there was primer coat on 98% of it. And there was a cabinet missing between the sink and something. I can't remember all the details. But to get that closed, it needed to be painted. It needed some flooring. And it needed a cabinet hooked up with the sink next door. Conventional. And you know what? Even the buyer never offered to come help. And I'll admit it. This is probably why they don't put me on microphone.
You're on. We're wired.
And I would not recommend doing this. There's my disclosure. But the only way that was going to close was to just go do it. I'm not recommending it. Don't go do that. Talk to the brokers before you do anything.
We're well outside the statute of limitations.
Yes, we are. Thank God. But you know what? When you're painting a massive place and putting in flooring and adding a cabinet, just stupid.
I will say she was also doing that at like midnight.
It was not only midnight. It was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve.
Shut the front door.
I remember where I was when I had the conversation with her on the phone too. Like my car full of my family. We were going somewhere, and Doyle's like painting a house, and I was just like.
And Brad very nicely. Here's another.
Is this
quirk.
also back when you were dual career? Was it that early?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
I don't think so.
You just sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I remember very sweet Brad. It might seem like we are arguing, siblings, but I love Brad dearly. He's He's done so many amazing things and is so good.
We all do. As difficult as
We
his
do.
sin,
I
we all
know.
love
I
that.
know.
Yes.
I just didn't want
As
to.
I've described him to a million people, he's the older brother you never wanted.
Well, I would never want anyone to think that the joking that we do is like has any hatred or intent or whatever. But Brad, that occasion of that Christmas Eve and having to do the painting and the flooring and the this and the that and whatever, he was like, "Why don't I come help you?" And I was like, "No, thank you. I just wanted to bring you up to date on what," or he might have called.
If
me.
if I disappear, I just want you to know where to ping the
No, I think
authorities.
you were in the middle of working on it, and you were asking me specifically what needed to be
Okay,
done. I think
yeah.
that's what the conversation was. It was like, okay, so we got to deal with these things. Like how much do we have to deal with them? You know how it is.
Can I staple that fake carpet down? Is that okay? Yeah, it's covering. Okay.
She's roofing the house on
A
Christmas
little wood
Day.
flooring won't hurt anybody, but I remember Brad was very like, why don't I come over and help you? I'm like, no, it's Christmas Eve. I refuse. I'm not gonna. And I think it was a blizzard. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on that day, but I was like, no, Brad, thank you, appreciate that, but I said, if you drive here, I'm not going to let you in, and I'm on my way to lock the door. So go enjoy your Christmas.
Says the criminal justice major or whatever it was with an unlocked house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
By yourself. Yeah, that's a good idea.
45 tucked in the small of her back while she's painting.
But yeah,
I had a nail gun. What else do you need?
that's the biggest thing is there's all these horror stories about VA appraisal issues. And it rolls back to the conversation. I know Timmy's very good about having it, and I shy away from it sometimes because I'm not real good at self-promoting. If you're dealing with a trusted lender that that knows what they're doing, it's not that much different.
Right.
If you're dealing with a Navy Fed or somebody else like that's
Right.
on the other side of the country that doesn't know New England, doesn't know, the details, and doesn't care for that matter, and probably isn't going to pick up the phone anyways
And it's
when
not
you call.
the government.
Yeah,
People
right.
tend to think Navy Federal must
Oh
be
no,
like.
Veterans United. That's the government. That's the VA. No,
It's not. They're
No, it's
not.
not.
boy.
No,
It's a lender.
it is not.
Yeah.
That is a lender that is leveraging the VA program.
Right.
And it's crazy how many times if you're an experienced agent and you really think about it, it's not just the VA loans that there's appraisal challenges with.
Absolutely.
They all have challenges at times. And until you wrap your head around that, and go, oh, okay, wait a second, they're all come with some issues. All your government programs have an issue with shipping paint, period.
Right.
And that's the big difference between conventional and the government programs is they're worried about lead paint. Okay. Other than that, there's some little nuances, but the VA's even done a really good job since COVID to try to make things more viable. Like they allow veterans to pay buyer's commission now because of the changes that have gone on. The pest inspection used to have to be paid by somebody else. The veteran can pay for that now. That was the conversation I was having with this veteran last night. He was like, well, I got to get an inspection. I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, at most you need a pest inspection and a well water quality test. That's the most you need, So it's interesting, the idea that there's just so many misconceptions about it out there.
It boggles the mind. So if you're somebody who, and I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not, a conversation that was at the front printer, I guess maybe it's been
By
a
the
year.
new mail machine?
I haven't seen that yet.
How would you miss it?
I haven't been that way.
Yeah.
But there was a conversation that somebody was saying some really off color things about VA loans, and I don't think it's my place to get into other people's conversations, but there's some trigger in my head that
She ran him over with her car.
Yeah, she waited until they got to the parking lot. Yeah.
No, I was.
That's what happened to the building. Yeah.
They were standing there, and it was just
She was full of goodwill, and then she hit it. Go ahead.
No, it's just I couldn't. If it was any other topic of real estate that they were talking about, maybe racial discrimination or something like that would have triggered me. But it's just a thing that gets to me, and I couldn't walk away from that because it was a newer agent and an experienced agent condemning the VA process. And it wasn't a big yelling, screaming thing. I just said, your clients deserve for you to learn what VA is all about and get them into a home.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually argue that VA appraisals are easier than FHA.
Absolutely.
Because there's some things that they don't get into with VA that they will get into with FHA. And I don't think people see that. They don't understand that.
They don't.
Yeah.
They heard one agent a decade ago say something negative, and they have continued to carry that forward and share it with others.
Yep.
And it's not okay. If you walked into Brad's office, large black iced coffee, and just said, "Hey, can you give me 5 minutes to talk about something about VA?"
No need to bring the coffee. Come, I'll gladly come to you. I think
anyway.
we did a class a couple of years ago too. On that. Yeah, we should do that. Bring that back sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And I think agents need to understand. And this, there might be maybe the numbers change a little bit, but it's pretty consistent. Tell me if I'm wrong. That the actual closing rate for VA is higher than conventional.
Yeah, typically. I mean,
VA wants them to close.
Yeah, there's not as many challenges with that. And I will say there's times where you end up with a VA appraiser that may be a bit of a challenge. Like I had one close a few months ago where the VA appraiser just didn't want to hear it about a certain property. I won't get into too many of the details, and wasn't willing, even though we got something from the town that was like, no. This is from the town. This says how it is. And he was like, yeah, I don't care.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm calling it what it is. And yet again, work with a good lender. My underwriting manager was like, yeah, just document it. She's like, we'll deal with the appraisal the way it is. Yeah. And if the VA has a problem, we have all the documentation for it. But that's the same thing you would do with any appraisal. Yeah. You just have to document it correctly and make sure that things are correct, and you overcome those challenges. That's part of the mortgage world.
Mm-hmm.
That's
no
how
matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what program it is. There's and that's why I know we talk about it in new agent orientation, like having somebody local that you trust is huge because everything's great until it's not.
Right.
And if you don't have somebody that you can go find or that's going to answer the phone, they're not gonna.
Right.
Like if they're in Ohio or in Kansas or California or wherever they are, they have caller ID like the rest of the planet. Guess who they know who's calling when there's a challenge. Right. They know the 603 number or the 978 number is coming from you trying to be like, what the heck's going on? And they're just going to let it go, and that's the key is you need to have, people that you trust that are, that are good at what they do. And they're going to follow through and make sure your clients are taken care of, and that's the end of the day, and that's where I think the biggest issue you run into is you've got these national lenders that are huge that really focus on VA and they do a disservice to the program because of it.
They just have a checklist.
Yeah. And
check.
And as a result, I think that rolls back to agents being like, oh, I had this horrible experience. But it's like, okay, yeah, but if your borrower was doing a conventional loan with that lender, you'd have a horrible experience then too. Like it's not the program, it's the people that are executing it.
Right. And I mean, professionally, and you can argue whether it's ethical or moral or whatever, but the governor technically gives us a license. There's a professional obligation that goes along with that to do your best job for your client. It doesn't say anywhere out there, or there's no theme saying, do that for everybody except for your VA members. No, you fight. And if you don't understand what handling a VA is all about, you're expected to go learn it.
Mm.
It's not a 10-year process.
Right.
It isn't. You can look up. There's some great resources online. You can talk to Brad. It's just you're expected to learn it. Like every detail in real estate, you got to know it. So don't continue to slam VA when you're just not understanding it. You're not taking the time to do what's appropriate. And at the end of the day, if they scare you off, call me.
I was
I'll
going to
take
say.
it. I'll take it.
And you
to
can also just refer it over to Doyle.
Well, you want to talk about a higher referral rate for first responder or military? Let's talk. I'll take it any day. I wish 100% of what I did was that. I have less problems with VA than cash. I'll go down on the hill with that.
There it is.
It's true.
Yeah.
Everything has challenges.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it all has challenges.
Yeah. So there's my VA spiel.
So the entirety of Doyle Real Estate as an agent has taken place at KW Coastal and now KWCLM. What's the thing that, because obviously every one of you that does the kind of business that you do, we're not stupid. We know that you're getting phone calls and getting invited out for bagels and coffee and lunch and dinner and all that kind of stuff. What are the things that you've enjoyed here and the reason that you see value so much that you decide to come play with us day after day?
Part of this, and this has not been a thing for me the whole way through, but sitting up at the commission, I learn an awful lot about how some offices are run. I don't know if run is the correct word. How they operate, sort of, kind of.
Well, they operate that way. It doesn't mean they will run
well,
that way.
That's true. It might not be a good thing, but there's just, I've always viewed this office, as my family. With the other job situation, when I was doing both, rolling in here and getting the wonderful little kick from Lindsay and Susanna and Kaylee, like, okay, so go do your thing. There are offices that don't understand when we do anything like hang out together or, they don't have the resources that we do. You have a question, you get it answered. We're not paying to talk to our brokers. That was a thing on a particular office in the Seacoast for a while. For like $25, you could talk to your broker for 15 minutes or something. I mean,
Nate was going to do it. He couldn't get the little thing he bought the tap cube, but it just wouldn't work. So we did away with it.
It's ridiculous. No matter what you need, whether it's, maybe we don't have any skyscraper experts. That might be the only thing we don't have. But, I've been in situations that, one situation with a massive land piece that I knew had been mishandled by the previous agents. And I also knew that it needed the expertise of more commercial building. This was years ago. And I called Dave Garvey from out of the attorney's office on the way to my car. I said, Dave, the other agents had it listed for like $2 million or something. That land was actually worth about $300,000 because it needed all of the stuff that cost a fortune. The bridges and the whatever.
So you're saying it might have been the price.
It might have been the price. And, that ball of wax wasn't really my main thing that I had done. But I picked up the phone and within 10 minutes, we had a plan in place.
Yeah.
And then Dave was able to call in, Pike Industries and a few of his like big people who do those things and gave us a rundown of what that land would cost to develop. It wasn't going to be like 16 single family homes at 1.3 each. It was going to be like 6 duplexes with a whole lot of money put in to provide access,
road and stuff,
all of those things. So, if you're newer and it just hasn't been your life to be around horses, if you need an equestrian question, there's a bunch of us who can answer that. No matter what we need, waterfront, all the stuff. there's nothing that I've run into, and I've run into some really quirky things. I tend to attract those really super quirky things, which is okay. I like them because it's a challenge and you learn a bunch of new things each time. But no matter what it is, there's a resource at this agency, at this office that can help you.
You made a point to say a few times in there about, coming in. And I think that's an important thing for us. I think it changed. We had a whole, I'll say, generation of kids that joined us during COVID, and we weren't coming in, and all they've known is us being online right now.
Right.
The differentiation for you between being here and not being here, and just explaining that to somebody who might just be joining us, the benefit of being in the office.
Yeah.
How did that affect you when you were getting started? Even though you were getting here maybe and catching people as they were leaving for the day, when you were coming in dual career and doing your Dexter thing at 10 o'clock at night, right? But like, just the fact of coming to the brick and mortar and being in the place where it happens, how did that change maybe your launch? Do you think it benefited you?
Oh, absolutely. Being here and getting to know people, getting to know, or just being here, it's all the good things that happen too. But, sometimes you can sense somebody's having a tough day. Something may have happened. Maybe a seller told them they didn't want to continue on, or whatever it was. There's a lot of tough stuff that happens. We all know that. And having people around you that understand it. And I think one of the things that will always sit with me, this is the crowd. This is the people that I've gotten to know so well. And if something is going on, Nathan in particular is very good at noticing, what's wrong? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. What can I do? I mean, man, a few words, but a big hug and what can I do? What do you need? I always thought I was very good at hiding any emotion and Westcott will tell you, my facial expressions are, they tell the world I can't hide a damn thing. But, I just remember a number of times one of you or Nate, just simply passing by the hallway. What's going on? You okay? Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. No, you're not. What can I do? That's like our kind of standard exchange. This is a very caring company. And especially if you're brand new and you think, oh, we're 500 and whatever out there, you'll also hear as many people saying, hey, I got a call out of the blue from somebody on the staff just asking how I was, whether it was Nate or Jen or you guys or whatever. It's a very supportive, caring culture that people want to take care of each other. And other offices, I'm sorry, I shouldn't go on record as saying nobody else has this.
I'll say it for you.
They don't. It's not the same.
Even though I can't, because I've only ever been here, as I've said. I don't have a real sexy why I'm here story. I was dumb enough to trust Nate, and here we are. We're still here. So
it worked
honestly,
well.
Because now I'm the biggest proponent of when I'm sitting with an 8th grader and they haven't picked their office yet and they're interviewing us, and I'm like, go shop everyone else.
Yeah.
Because I know that this is, it's not for everybody. We know that because I think there's a level of co-opetition that goes on here. And if you aren't closing deals and doing stuff, you can feel like you're getting left behind because we have so many agents that are producing and doing really well. But I can't imagine going, everybody talks about the beautiful lobby across town, our friends at Blue Man Group. And I can't for the life of me, okay, I could go in and yell my name right now. It'll be echoing for 3 more months. Right. And our office obviously getting built out. Brad's very excited about the build out. Very quiet over there on the East Wing, and the new mail machine. But we've been here since October of 2013. It's not brand new. It's got scuff marks all over the place, and we repaint and redo carpets when we can. But it's not the sexiest building in America.
You know what?
But it's the people, it's the heartbeats inside the building that matter. I don't care if you have cultured stone in your lobby. You're still an ass.
You got to choose whether an empty office that I had to go knock on a window from the parking lot at that big fancy building to get anyone's attention to drop off. It was like a Tuesday at 3:00 or whatever.
Yep.
And the door was locked. There was one guy sitting in the back off the parking lot, and I hiked up to knock on his window. I'm like, got this, you know, it was like a $250,000 deposit check, and I wanted it signed saying received.
Yep.
It took a lot. That's
Yeah.
if an agent at that company needed a question answered, it would be, yeah, let me run your card for $25 and then I'll try to help you.
They're
really,
not the group that charges, but anyway, we're gonna get
Really?
lost in the weeds, and
I know,
we're not gonna
I
do
know.
that.
It's,
But no, but
it's just
to your point,
place.
like on our slowest day, we still have more people here just
Yeah.
bouncing off the walls. And on the other side of it is our busiest day, which I want to get to because I know it's probably you and Nathan share. The unofficial holiday that only we have here at 463 is Pie Day. And that's
the
another day
best.
that you love because
Oh my God,
Nate
it's my favorite.
always buys too many baked goods. And you get to go visit all the cops and firefighters and all
Well,
that kind of
it's,
stuff.
You know, yes, that is my most favorite day of the year because it's not delivering the pies to as many departments as I can get to. Literally like 22-ish,
Such a good
15
number.
to 22-ish is kind of the number, depending on who's there for the day. It's not real estate at that point.
Mm.
It's a pure thank you for what you do. You know,
Yep.
And you know, I'll say the other thing too. A lot of people drop off food at different departments,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to say this, but for the most part, unless they know who you are, they're not going to
touch it.
They can't.
Yeah.
They can't, especially these days.
Yeah.
With the ridiculous things that get out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been happening for so long now that I oftentimes know who I'm meeting with there.
Yep.
And they're all amazing. And I wish I could, but they're all like, I remember Northampton police a couple of years ago, the chief was like, come on and sit down. Like, it's time I got to know you. Like, why do you do this? And tell me about your office and all of that. And they're so thankful that it's just a recognition for what they do. And I learned the first year over at Portsmouth with dispatcher, we had a little argument, and the dispatcher said,
I love that she's getting in fights with the cops.
I know. Well, it was
Take the damn pie.
It was a play fight. But,
Okay.
He asked for a business card, and I said, "Oh no, sorry, I don't have one. But they're labeled with our office, so these are from my office. These aren't for me. I'm the delivery person." And he said, "No, I need a card to put on the box because this is marketing for you, right?" And I said, "Today's the day to just say thank you to all of you for everything that you do." And he was like, "Give me a card." And I said, "No, I won't." And we were kind of playing it out. And then the chief came in and he was like, "Hey, how are you? Is it good? You got to tell this dispatcher I'm not going to leave a business card. It's not marketing."
Mm-hmm.
And he just said, do what she asked. It was a joke. Like we were all joking about it, but it's just a day to say thank you.
Yep. One of the best parts of what we do is you can sort of decide when you're going to escape for the day or if you're on or you're off. You've got some life changes coming up this year. Haley's getting married this year. So the next obvious question, and congratulations to her and Alex. The next obvious question, are you going to be Nana Doyle, Grandma Doyle? Like what are we, because that's coming. I mean, it's going to be on the way.
Well, the good part is we started slow. The first start was I
can't wait to call you Nana Doyle.
A guinea pig that arrived.
Grammy.
Grammy
and
Doyle.
I became a Grammy at that moment. My family's been Grammy.
Oh, you're Grammy
so
Doyle.
I'm probably going to be Grammy.
I love all of
this.
this.
Then they got a dog. They adopted a black lab, sort of black lab. And
Black lab and stuff. That's my favorite.
And stuff.
Yeah, black lab
and stuff. Well, a few different things in there. But and I have gone to the house to babysit the black lab.
Okay.
When they're going out west to
So we're practicing. All right.
Yeah.
On the way.
I've done pretty well.
When is the wedding day? When are we going to lose you for a little while? Because you'll be in
September. Well, I don't know that. Sorry to report. You probably won't lose me. I won't be because they're doing most of it themselves, which is really hard.
Have you met you? I'm sure you're going to be involved. I'm not saying it in an invasive way. I'm just saying you're.
Yeah.
you are your mother's daughter. Like you have
But my daughter-
monogram napkins will be at the wedding, I'm sure, if you have anything to say about it. Probably.
Well, I make suggestions, but I've told them right from the beginning. I said, if I suggest something that you don't like this is your wedding. Like, you guys get to, like, I'm not that mom who's going to like make issues because of something.
It's
like
your wedding. Just make the right choice. That I told you about.
Yeah, just choose from the list.
You want me to change the estate planning stuff now or after? So do as I say.
Choose
No.
from the list. I gave you a choice.
No,
Pick that one.
Their choice, and they're doing a great job. Couple of things that I
Might have done differently.
Might have done differently.
Not your wedding, Doyle.
Modern weddings are a little bit different than the old fashioned, and a lot of that is really good. Some of the fluffy, junky stuff is being dropped, and I'm like, yay, thank God. I don't think there'll be a garter and all that stuff.
My TikTok is now getting invaded by all of these memes or just videos of these songs are 30 years old. And I tripped over a DJ yesterday, and he was doing a mashup of 30-year-old songs. And of course, with Janina and I, 96 was the wedding.
Yes.
So I'm like, this was our wedding.
Right.
This was our
That was
this was
30
our
years
wedding.
ago.
All this music was our wedding, which is completely horrifying.
Seems
So
like
I think of all
yesterday.
the stuff that we spent money on for our wedding that we probably should have saved for illicit drugs and bail money for the honeymoon.
Well,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are kind of figuring out, like at $250 a person. Do we need to give away something to walk out the door with?
We did the
that
big,
gets
massive
stuffed in a drawer.
200-person traditional wedding with the
Yeah.
I mean, I don't regret a bit of that, but I look now
Right.
and people are just like, yeah, we just we'll be back, and when we get back, we're gonna have a barbecue in the backyard. And I'm like, oh, that would have saved so much money.
Oh, my dad offered me the cost of my wedding with the boats and the fireworks and the
boats.
the flown in.
Of
The
course,
flowers had to be flown in.
of course. Did
because
you get
they
married in
weren't-
Bushwood?
Oh,
You know what the tough thing is, though, is you can say this. Timmy and I cannot say that the backyard barbecue is the right way to do a wedding because it's not about us.
well, that is
no.
true.
Listen,
That's
and we
true.
can we'll call her right now, and we'll tap her into the show. I was bridezilla. Nobody should be shocked by that.
No.
Janina was like, okay, all right. Like
Brad woke
Janina,
up and said,
Janina
"Am I supposed
obviously,
to be somewhere today."
Janina
No.
was concerned about things,
No.
but
You
but
remember
yeah,
where I got married, Doyle? Come on.
I don't remember
Vegas.
Yeah. We got married at
Elvis.
the Chapel of Love in Vegas.
where.
Elvis.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Two best days of my life happened in
Did I?
Vegas. 01 Super Bowl was number one.
Oh my
And I
God.
got married there.
Is that in order?
Yeah.
So, number 1 and number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Just good to know.
Oh my God.
Good
Oh.
reference.
The best
Something-
part was there was like I think the only time in history that I've ever won Valentine's Day. We had family reunion out there one year, and I went and did a video in the room at the Chapel of Love, and I sent it to the wife. I was
Oh.
like, and I was like, yes, I finally did a good thing on V-Day. Like,
Was that was Valentine's Day? We're all at dinner. We were at Wolfgang Puck's, I think, and somebody was wearing the tablecloth as a sweater. Am I wrong?
might be.
I might be right. I might be right.
Actually, I think it was that trip.
Oh,
I think it was that trip that I did it on. I think we were out there for Valentine's.
wonderful.
Yeah.
For those of you that have no idea what he's talking about, stand by. Is this gonna make any sense if I hold this up? If you guys can sort of see this. So
Yeah.
we did like Mario Kart, and we rented these. What are these called again?
Slingshots.
Slingshots. So yeah.
Did you
there's,
have slingshots on? a
So God bless
slingshot?
Brad. He dropped back, and he got a great picture of Nathan and I revving around the corner. You got to this point of this track. This is outside of Vegas.
That's Red Rocks.
But this is Red Rocks outside of Vegas. You get to a certain part of this road, and they let you know it's one way.
Oh,
I have never
Jesus.
felt like I was in Mario Kart before in my life. And Nathan, thank God, didn't have any potassium sticks because he would have been eating banana peels.
Right.
Which, but that was a fantastic trip. That was amazing. That was amazing. So it was that trip. All right, interesting.
I think it was that trip.
Yeah, I believe you. That's crooked. I'll
I
fix it.
had to take like a train and a bus and like walk. It was like to get there was painful, but yeah, no, it was good.
Well, you always have your celebratory trip with your company is always after family. Sometimes we get back from family and the
Right.
wife meets you at the airport and then
That
you
was
leave
that
again.
one year. Yeah, that was the year that I don't quite know.
Brad
how
doesn't
I
sleep for
survived.
3 weeks.
'Cause
Yeah.
we were in New Orleans that year for Mardi. That was the Mardi Gras year in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then you went to wherever for your
we
President's Club thing.
Yeah, I forget where. I think it might have been the Dominican. And I got to the Dominican, and my wife had brought my sandals with me for the beach, and I couldn't get them on, and I was like, this is weird. Why do my sandals not fit? And I was like, oh, it's because my feet are swollen because I've been
Been in a plane for 3 days
who
straight.
knows what I've got at this point?
Right.
I was in New Orleans at Mardi Gras, like 5 planes.
How's
and
your
now, yeah.
gout? It's great. It's doing
Mardi
great.
Gras trip. Oh dear Lord! I remember thinking, "Oh, my hotel's right over there." I was tired. I peeled off a little bit earlier than you guys, and I very quickly realized this is a neighborhood I really should not be in. Like I'd gotten off the kind of the beaten path, and I'm in
Yes.
a neighborhood, and then this police officer walked up, and he's like, "Ma'am, can I ask you a really good, serious question? What the hell are you doing here?" And I was like, I'm just heading back to my hotel." Which, at that point I looked up
yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
get in the vehicle.
over there.
Get in the
There's
vehicle.
the lights on the top over there. And he was like, I'm going to walk you until you get out of this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, thank you.
Similar stories to our trip this year, right?
Well,
What's that?
The last time
Probably.
Atlanta was in the mix.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
No,
but that
right.
was Nate ran into the same thing, didn't he? Out there, he was going to walk to.
He was at like an
Lunch.
OP thing, and he was just going to walk a couple blocks to lunch, and the cops just like, no, you're gonna. The guy, the doorman, at the
doorman,
hotel,
yeah,
was
was
like,
like,
you're
"Sir."
gonna get a car.
Yeah, so where are you going?
You're gonna get a car. You're gonna get a
it's
car.
always good to listen to the locals,
Yeah.
especially
Yes.
when, our born, raised practice in our
Yes.
sweet little
Yeah.
town.
It'll be fine. It's 10 minutes up the road. Nope, you're gonna get a
Yeah,
car.
you're going to die.
I
You're
got dropped
gonna-
off.
you're gonna
I
get
got
a car.
dropped off by an Uber driver in New Orleans one night on Bourbon Street, and he was like, "So you go right here. You don't go left."
Wait, let me
Yeah.
confirm this. This hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
got
like,
it.
"Yes, sir."
We were one of the last times down in New Orleans, 2 trips ago to New Orleans. It was in the middle of we got in after Fat Tuesday.
Okay.
So we were there for Lent. So I wasn't drinking because it was Lent. So I have Kate's purse, Kaylee's purse, and Susanna's purse. And I'm fully suited because we went right from the convention center, and I'm standing in that sea of iniquity that they call the Bourbon Street, where like just the
Sticky streets.
yeah, like it's just coming up like,
you
oh
know
yeah.
my story about bourbon.
We
about New
burnt we
Orleans.
burnt so many pairs of shoes.
I've never brought back the shoes I wore in New
Yes,
Orleans. They've
4,000%.
always- Yeah, they've always stayed there.
Just
Yep.
burn them.
Yep. I'm like, I love these shoes, and they're not coming home. Not
You
going to put
don't
them in my
want to
luggage.
envision what's on the sole
No,
of it.
it's different. They show them hot steaming the streets in the morning, and
Ugh.
that won't take care of probably what happened. A
No.
lot of fluids.
No. But go.
Yeah.
Go to these things.
Yes,
'cause
go to Hotlanta. It'll
it's-
be great.
Oh, no, it's a great time.
Get your own car.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
Absolutely. We're telling horror stories, but you
No,
learn
Bourbon Street is
so
not. It's not a
much.
family reunion thing. Bourbon Street is just a Bourbon
Well,
Street thing.
let's be honest. Any of us that like grew up in New Hampshire, Northern Mass, whatever, wherever you are, and like all of a sudden you're in these big cities, it's a different world.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a little different.
So
A little different. Doyle, thanks for hanging out.
Well,
You
hey,
survived.
thanks. I did. I didn't even escape early. Like just
Even though she still has her coat on, she still has her scarf on.
Well, I was
She's
outside
on
all
that
morning
side
and
of
I
the
was
chair.
Cold. I was cold when
Is
I
it
got
that
here.
cold in here?
In here it's perfect.
Okay.
I was just outside for a chunk of time,
Oh,
and
I
walked in
appreciate
kinda
that.
Cold.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
getting my
real
gear.
quick, Timmy, can I throw out a shameless plug?
Always.
Another underserved group of individuals, I think, is the best way to put it in our world. Just want to remind everybody after the sales meeting this month, next week,
21st. No, 21st.
2
the
weeks.
Wednesday
2 weeks,
before
yeah.
the party.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We're having a reverse mortgage seminar, and it's going to be not tailored around like your average reverse mortgage situation. This is more of around like what it's going to do to help you help our elderly community be able to do things like reverse for purchase, which is actually a real thing, and so instead of grandma trying to buy a $200,000 house because that's all the money she's got, she can buy that $400,000 house that she really wants to be in, do a reverse mortgage, not have a payment, and be in a better spot because of it. So like definitely worthwhile, because I don't think we we, and I say me, along with, the agents and stuff, really have a good enough grasp on how that can help your clients that are in that demographic. Okay. So just keep that in mind.
Things have changed a lot with them
it's
over
got,
the
it's,
years,
it's
right?
got a lot better. There was issues with it back in the day. There was just some negative things and they've fixed the program. It's a much better program for the clients now.
Is there a starting age?
62, right? Yeah, 62 is the age. Yep. And then
You're almost there, Grammy Doyle.
I'm so close. I can see it right out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's right over there.
You're not even close. Stop it. We will be back next Friday. We're doing Nespresso with a networker next week. That is the Terry LaJoy is going to talk about the fact that she probably talks to more people every day than you do. I can guarantee it.
She's
I can guarantee
how
it.
many calls did you make today?
So she'll be here. She's probably going to be annoyed that Brad's here, but Brad will be here. So we'll be hanging. We'll be hanging out again next Friday with the Terry LaJoy. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is on FaceBase for 30 days because live video only lasts for 30 days because Zuckerberg's a genius. You look great, Mark. But it is over on the YouTubes ad infinitum, so that'll be there.
Oh, I figured we were safe after 30 days.
The KW Smithsonian. It's over on YouTube as well. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, both of you.
Bye.